The contractual power of commercial entry, and the hidden enforcement mechanism behind storefront notices. What if I told you that just walking through a store's front door could bind you to a contract and waive your rights without you ever realizing it? Those tiny words on the window? They're not just legalese. They're enforcement mechanisms, and they operate under commercial law. When an individual enters a business establishment, they are not simply crossing a threshold. They are engaging in an act of contractual significance. Entry implies consent to pre-disclosed commercial terms, often enumerated on signage or contained within posted notices. This phenomenon is consistent with the doctrine of adhesion contracts, whereby one party, the business, unilaterally sets the terms and the other, the customer, agrees by participation. In Texas and other states that have enacted versions of the 30.06 and 30.07 signage statutes, business owners must provide very specific language if they intend to restrict the carrying of handguns, whether openly or concealed, on their premises. These statutes reinforce that signage is not a mere suggestion, but an enforceable legal instrument. Yet, such signage only applies to firearms, not necessarily to all arms as constitutionally protected. Legally, this means that the terms written on the window, when sufficiently specific and statutory compliant, can create a valid and binding commercial agreement. In entering the premises, the patron becomes subject to those terms and may be prosecuted under trespass or similar statutes if they knowingly violate them. However, this enforcement is predicated on consent through conduct. If the individual asserts that they are carrying an arm, not a firearm, and that the posted signage fails to define or encompass that term, then the commercial contract arguably does not apply to their action. This places the burden on the establishment and potentially on the courts to define the scope of enforcement. Footnote: this section explains how posted signage constitutes a binding contractual offer under commercial law and how its enforceability hinges on the precision of legal terms used.